Hi guys, welcome to the Fight Tonight channel. The famous American trainer Robert Garcia believes that the absolute lightweight champion George Kambosos defeated Teofimo Lopez thanks to luck, as before that Lopez himself defeated Vasily Lomachenko, who came out to fight against him with an injured shoulder. I think it will be cool for Kambosos to get a fight with Ryan Garcia, because he will earn a lot of money. It will be a huge event, but I think Garcia will win it. Kambosos defeated Lopez in the same way as Teofimo-Lomachenko on his unlucky day. I don't think Lopez will beat Loma again. Kambosos beat Lopez on his bad day. I don't think he is going to beat him again. Kambosos had never been a big-name fighter before defeating Lopez. He has never been a top prospect or a boxer that everyone is talking about. Kambosos was not signed by a big promoter. I respect Lou DiBella, he is my friend. But Kambosos has never worked with a major promoter and has always fought in small cards that Lou put him in. So Kambosos has never been a star. The fight with Lopez made him a star. But I think it was a bad night for Teofimo Lopez, Robert Garcia said in an interview. According to an authoritative insider Dan Rafael, the streaming service DAZN is not interested in organizing a fight between the absolute lightweight world champion George Kambosos and the owner of the ordinary WBC title Devin Haney. According to Rafael, the Kambosos team is currently negotiating a duel with Vasily Lomachenko and Ryan Garcia. It is the fight of the undefeated American prospect against the Kambosos that the bosses of DAZN are ready to arrange. Meanwhile, the duel of the absolute champion with Lomachenko can be organized by the ESPN TV channel, cooperating with the Ukrainian top-rank promotion company. Kambosos' duel with Loma is being discussed, as well as with Garcia. Both deals are on the table. DAZN is not interested in organizing a fight with Haney. I will add that the fight with Loma will take place on the ESPN platform. The fight with Garcia will be on DAZN. Dan Rafael wrote on his Twitter page. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 100 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard, absolutely every day, and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. The absolute lightweight world champion George Kambosos continues to invite the top fighters of his division to fight with him in Australia. Early, an authoritative insider Dan Rafael reported that now the main contenders for the fight with Kambosos are Vasily Lomachenko and Ryan Garcia. Later, he noted that the Australian is ready to fight with any opponent. Kambosos agreed with this thesis and added that he was waiting to see which of the potential rivals would be brave enough to enter the ring with him. That's right, damn it. The most serious and best contenders are those who actually have big balls to go on stage and not a big ego and lies, wrote Kambosos in response to Rafael's tweet. Barrios jumped 7 pounds to take on Keith Thurman, a seasoned champion and former unified belt holder at welterweight. The result was getting his face rearranged for him and nose badly busted. Unexpectedly, Keith Thurman was in irresistible form. He dominated Barrios for the duration despite over 3 years out of action. It was like Keith had never been away. For Barrios, it was a second damaging defeat in a row. The 26-year-old now faces a big decision. Does the youngster move back down to 140 pounds? If it's possible. Or does Barrios head into the also ranks of his new division? Either way, he badly needs a victory in his next bout. Gervonta losing to Davis could be forgiven, but then taking on someone like Thurman in his very next fight shows more balls than brains. Photos circulating on social media of Barrios labeling the fighter Rocky from the movie Mask will sting, and he certainly will need a boost from his team moving forward. If he does remain at 147, there will still be plenty of options open to him. Samuel Vargas, Brad Solomon, or Chris Algieri could be solid building blocks for barriers. However, this must be the preferred option if he can make it down to 140 for another run. If Turman proved anything, it's that Barrios is not ready for some of the more prominent names the welterweight division has to offer. Some fighters like Adrian Bruner, Mikey Garcia, for instance, won't command as much weight as others. But Barrios would be well advised to move back down on the evidence of Saturday night's pay-per-view. Regarding Turman, his star is back in the championship sky. One time can begin to think about becoming a two-time welterweight title holder, or at least getting a shot. Terence Crawford springs to mind when considering where Turman could go after an impressive victory. One thing that is for sure is that will be on the paid platform. Devin Haney agrees to fight George Kambosos. Could we get an undisputed champion at lightweight in 2022? Devin Haney has agreed to fight George Kambosos next and has argued his lightweight rival to accept the fight. The Australian fighter became an in-demand boxer at the back end of last year, when he caused a sensational shock to defeat Teofimo Lopez to become the #1 fighter at 135 pounds. With the lightweight division staked with a number of outstanding contenders, Kambosos has a huge target on his back with several names calling him out. Haney and Vasily Lomachenko have been the loudest, and the Las Vegas-based WBC champion has called on his fellow belt holder to face him in an attempt to unify the entire division. Right now, it's on George and his team to determine what's next, said Haney when speaking to Chris Mannix on DAZN. At the end of the day, I agree to all of their terms, whether it was the travel or the vaccine, so anything that they throw at me, I'm ready to do it. This is a dream of mine to become undisputed champion. They can say what they want, and I price myself out and did this and that, but that's not the truth. I'm ready to make the people happy and ready to do it next, Haney said. Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn took some time to talk to Fight Hub about the ongoing talks to stage a lightweight title fight between George Kambosos Jr. and Devin Haney. Hearn says money has largely been the hold-up from getting this fight over the line thus far, and assures everyone that if the fight doesn't happen, it won't be because Haney priced himself out of the fight. It's just money, Hearn said about why Haney-Kambosos hasn't been finalized. George Kambosos has had a really big win. He feels that he's got financial expectations of a certain level, and Devin's ready to go to Australia. Devin Haney did some media last week, just wanted to make it clear that everybody knew that Devin ain't pricing himself out. Devin's aware of the opportunity presented in front of himself. Devin's ready for that fight. He wants to become undisputed, and George should want to become undisputed. George Kambosos has no fear of anyone. He boxed Teofimo Lopez. He won that fight. Haney-Kambosos is at the fight to make, and hopefully we can get it done. In November last year, Australian boxer George Kambosos hit a big jackpot by defeating the odious Teofimo Lopez. Thus, Lopez lost all 4 belts, and Kambosos became the absolute lightweight champion of the world. However, after the sensational defeat, the American of Honduran origin did not demand revenge. Under all sorts of pretexts and referring to the state of health, he and his father announced the transition to the first welterweight. After that, there were a lot of people who wanted to fight with Kambosos. George was followed even not by a quick-wire, then by very large fish of the division. We are talking about Vasily Lomachenko and regular WBC world champion Devin Haney. Loma is an official contender for the WBO and the first number of the WBC, and Haney holds the WBC belt, while Kambosos himself holds the more prestigious WBC franchise. That is, according to the sporting principle, both boxers have equal rights to fight with the champion. But Kambosos and his promoter Lou DiBella will decide who is next. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.